Good clap.
Yeah.
Hi, and welcome to the Arts District Podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Georgia.
And we're on episode 30 this week.
Woo-hoo.
Big 30.
Yeah. Should we do 3 cupcakes?
So yeah, we took last week off. I was away, and we just wanted to have a bit of a break, which was nice. However, it's been hard getting back into the mode of looking up some interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast you can just totally get out of the art scene.
Yeah, so this episode will be a little bit of a easy breezy one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're in Hamilton right now.
Yeah, different background.
Yeah, I should have made some bunting, but
oh wow, I love your blanket.
Yeah, I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah,
So it's JunoFest right now. It's Saturday. Georgia and I went out last night to see what was going on. It also happened to be art crawl, and so both of us got to experience that for the first time.
Super noisy bracelets.
Yeah, I hate having to keep them on. Like, I hate sleeping in jewelry or anything that's not my pajamas.
Same.
So having this on when I was sleeping was really irritating. But anyways, sidetracked. Yeah, so we both got to see art crawl for the first time.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. Like, we didn't go into a lot of the places because we were beelining it to the venue we wanted to go to. But we did go in this one really cool store, which I didn't even get the name of.
Yeah. Oh, darn.
It was like stationery or like paper crafty stuff.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Paper Place in Queen West, but in Hamilton. And it had some really nice artist prints of like cities or different neighborhoods of cities. They had Hamilton ones and golf ones.
Yeah, and inexpensive too, like $20 for the print. They had one for my neighborhood, and I really wanted to get it, but I didn't.
I found my old neighborhood in Guelph too. Oh, that's nice.
It was cool. It was packed. There were so many people in that store, like you couldn't move.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was really cool to see so many people out on the streets. It was warmish too, like spring is finally here, I think, or almost here, and it was just nice to be out and seeing other people out and everyone like enjoying art and culture, and it was really cool.
Yeah, it's like hints of summer coming.
So we definitely lucked out with it being art crawl. So our original plan for last night was to go to this bar in Hamilton called This Ain't Hollywood. 6 Shooter Records was doing a showcase that had artists like Devin Cuddy and Jim Cuddy, Amelia Coran, Ariana Gillis, Del Barber. A bunch of people were playing, and Harlan Pepper was the house band for the night. And I really wanted to go see that. By the time we got there, though, the show started at 9. There was already a lineup outside for people with wristbands. And it was kind of a one out, one in kind of scenario, so it would have been a while, I think, for us to get in. So we ended up going to the Baltimore House instead, and we caught the beginning of this one band set, which I don't have my little pamphlet on me. Wasn't they called? The Dying Arts. That's what they were called.
That was it.
And they were like hardcore.
Well, not
rock.
Totally, but when they started playing, we were both kind of like.
Yeah, I was taken aback. I didn't really know what to expect because I didn't really have a backup plan. I wanted to go to the 6 Shooter Records thing, and because I didn't really know any of the other bands, I should have done more research and actually planned it out. One of the bands that I did look into was one that CBC had on their list of top 10 to go see this weekend. They were called The Beaches, and they were like a all-girl group from Toronto. Young, like 16, 17, 18 years old, kind of like angsty punk rock kind of music. I thought they would have been interesting, and they were playing after the Dying Arts, but we were both so tired that we didn't end up making it, unfortunately.
And the Dying Arts were good. It's just
they were really tight.
I don't think we were in the headspace to.
Yeah.
Like, I was just expecting to chill.
And
then it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was kind of a weird situation because when we got there, the band that was on before them were just finishing up, and so we had to sit through like 20 minutes of changeover, and I was getting kind of like, come on, hurry up, like this is a Juno thing, it should be a little bit more organized and seamless, and I just felt that it was kind of amateur-ish. That's what it felt like.
Well, it's hard when there's so many venues involved. Like,
yeah.
But they did have that nifty, like, iPad.
Yeah, he had an iPad controlling the
swells,
like his soundboard.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been out hearing live music, so I guess I needed to take last night slow, and so did you. And we're gonna get back out tonight. The plan is, well, I don't know what you want to do. I want to go see Devin Cuddy and the brothers Landreth at the Casbah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Run with the Kittens, which has a member from Aurelia in it. They're playing at the Baltimore House, I think, before the Devin Cuddy band starts at the Casbah, so we might go check them out.
Yeah.
Tara Lightfoot has a set, and I talked about her in our last podcast episode, this afternoon at 4, I think, at one of the churches, so I wouldn't mind catching that as like an early show. But yeah, I guess our episode will already be up, and we won't have had the chance to mention it, but maybe I'll do like a blog or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Do a quick write-up, post it on our Facebook page. Yeah, so that's the plan for today. And yeah, anything more to add to JunoFest so far?
Not so far. It's we stopped in at, like, they had a whole event info area
The
type
tourism,
thing.
like the music and film headquarters.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, it's like Tourism Hamilton headquarters.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got a huge space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
They had a lot of neat things on display. And they had a selfie booth, so Georgia and I took our picture in front of this Juno thing. Maybe we'll put our picture up here and show you. Yeah, okay, so moving on.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
This is an article that you sent to me about a Toronto artist doing the new ride guide pamphlets. His name is Runt, and he's done a few large-scale murals around the city, sort of best known for Lee's Palace, Big Fat Burrito in Kensington Market, and Electric Mud Barbecue in Parkdale. He's got a really sort of like bright, colorful, cartoony style.
It reminds me of Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
Like every time I'm at Lee's Palace, I'm like looking for Waldo.
Yeah, it's like really dense with just like loads of little things and action-y and stuff like that. It's cool. So for this TTC Ride guide, which I didn't realize was a thing, it's like, I guess they're little map pamphlet-y things that are at the subway stations, and I think they mentioned they have a smaller one in the streetcars and buses. And yeah, so apparently the TTC is trying to like update and become more modern, which is good because the TTC stuff is all really lame. Like red, white, and black. Their website's kind of crappy. It loads really slow. It's like Web 1.0. Yeah, so they gave him a $4,000 honorarium to to use this art piece called Gears, which he did using like the TTC buses and stuff as cogs getting from point A to point B. So they didn't actually commission a work, it's just that they're paying to use for the rights to use this work on the ride guides, and they're also going to be selling prints of it through the TTC website. So I don't know if they're planning to do like a website overhaul or if that's just going to be something that's added to their current website.
Hopefully an overhaul.
Yeah, hopefully. But I was surprised, like $4,000 honorarium for the rights to use a work on the brochure and for the rights to sell prints of it. Like, that's nothing.
I wonder how long, like if it'll be like a year and then they'll get another artist.
Yeah, because it did.
I don't think they've ever done anything like this.
It actually said that there was another artist before him, and I should have written down who that was and looked into that a bit. But yeah, this sounds like it's maybe the second time that they've done this. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, they'll be making money off prints and using this artwork on all of their promotional material, and they're only giving him $4,000. Like,
it's a TTC. Like, how much money do they make a year?
Yeah. I mean, I realize that the Toronto Public Transit gets less tax funding than, like, any other major city in the world. Like, New York, London, they all get way more public funding than the TTC does. But still, like, I mean, I just get my back up about anything like this because the arts are so taken for granted.
Yeah.
And they say a lot with, like, artists or graphic designers like, oh, how about you do this for no money, but you get exposure? And it's like, well, you know what? Exposure doesn't pay my rent.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Obviously, he agreed to it, so he's probably doing well enough that 4,000 is okay, and it is good exposure, but as soon as I read that, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing them. Apparently, they'll be out really soon. This article was from March 10th, and it was from the Toronto Star, by the way, so I'll put the link in the description. So hopefully you'll be seeing those soon.
Mm-hmm. Cool. How are we doing for time?
8 minutes left.
Okay, I'll run through this. I just wanted to mention briefly, so I don't even know what's going on with JunoFest anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about him in a long time or what's going on with that, but in regards to Q, the radio show that he hosted, they have found a new host, and that is Shad. Do you know who Shad is?
I recognize the name, but I don't actually know anything about him.
He's like a hip-hop rapper from London, Ontario, actually.
Oh, okay.
I heard a lot about him when I was going to school in London. Some friends of mine really liked him. They did a project on him because before that I didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And since then I haven't heard much about him until now. CBC announced that he's going to be hosting Q.
Cool.
They're kind of doing like a whole rebranding, I guess, of the show. They said that it's going to have more musical performances, which is really cool, and it's going to be a lot less formatted than when Sean hosted it. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. It's going to be relaunching mid-April. And it's funny, like, I think that's a good move for CBC. I think Shad will bring in a lot of cool new ideas and like a fresh approach to the whole program, because it's been on for like a while. I want to say like 8 years or something. And I don't know. It was a good program. Maybe got a little stale in terms of like predictability.
Right.
But Shad hosted it as like a trial run for a couple days in January, and people were very quick to take to Twitter, like voicing their discontent with how he was doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess as his background being like a hip hop artist, some of the language that he was using, like he used dope to describe something, and people were like, yeah, like real appropriate language, all like snide like on Twitter.
Jeez.
And it's like,
calm down, people.
Yeah, okay, whatever. People say dope all the time, and like I don't know what musical artist he had on for the episodes, but people were saying that the music, they would put music in quotes as if to be like, yeah, that's not real music, was not office appropriate, and they hoped that the music choices would change. It's like, yeah, it's like, how can you say that? Like, the people that, I don't want to generalize or say anything, but I feel like the people that listen to CBC, I listen to CBC, but I feel like the people in Toronto are like these, I don't know, I just have this demographic in my head of people that are kind of hoity-toity.
Yeah.
Hoity-toity and hipsters, but I love the CBC. It's just, it gives off this vibe. So, I don't know. I think it's great. I'm glad that they're trying to do something fresh.
Yeah, I think it's a wise choice to not try and like just slip someone in to continue doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's good to take something and just like, let's give it a whole new.
And it'll bring in new listeners. Like all the people that like hip-hop, which the CBC doesn't really play. Exactly. Maybe they'll start listening.
And we all know CBC needs support right now.
Yeah. It's good to broaden your musical horizon. You know? Don't be so quick to talk negative about new styles that you don't really know about. So,
I should have stayed longer last night.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We were calling me out there.
No, I wasn't calling you out. It was me too.
We were tired, that's all. Yeah. So cool. Mid-April, look out for the new Q with Shad.
Yeah.
So what else do you want to talk about?
I've got a couple quick things here. I wanted to briefly mention that the International Women's Day was this past week. It was the 8th, I believe, March 8th. And I wanted to say that the Aurelia Museum of Art and History's 19th International Women's Day art show is still on. It goes until May 15th, so if you haven't checked that out in Aurelia yet, you might as well. I've got a piece in it. sort of a companion piece. There's painting, and I did video of the painting happening and stuff. So, and don't just go to see my video piece. There's lots of other stuff too. So I enjoyed it. I think I'm going to be back probably in April because they have a thing for all of the artists to attend. Like sort of discussion.
The reception type thing?
Yeah, it's like discussion of all the works and stuff like that for the artists, and really like welcoming supportive space for women and women artists. So I'll probably be going to that and taking a better look, like closer look, because at the opening it was just so busy I didn't get a chance to actually like get invested in each of the pieces. So
that's
looking
cool.
forward to that. So till May 8th or May 15th it's on.
My sister's band, Winnie Brave, is actually playing at the OMAH. I want to say it's this weekend, but it can't be because they're in Hamilton.
Oh.
Maybe it was the weekend just passed, like right now, this weekend.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just know I saw it on their website.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know what that was for, if it was part of that or if
I don't know. There's like a slow art thing
music
happening this weekend.
events in the
They often
museum.
have music stuff at the museum. So.
That's cool. Okay, one more thing I want to talk about, kind of tied to Juno's here in Hamilton. Tom Wilson, who's a local singer-songwriter known for being in bands like Drunk House, Blackie and the Roto Kings, Lee Harvey Osmond, a lot. He was, I guess, commissioned to do a mural for the Junos being in Hamilton because he's also an artist.
Cool.
He paints a lot. Really interesting paintings too. One of them's actually hanging in Apple Annie's. Yeah, so back in Aurelia's Cafe, if you go to the back where like you fill up on cream and sugar and everything, right to your left hanging there's a little Tom Wilson piece.
Cool.
Yeah, so the mural that he painted for the Junos is currently hanging on the side of the CBC Hamilton building, which is on James Street. We actually walked past it last night. I should have pointed it out to you. You might have even seen it. It was hanging up. It's got like a face and a moon and some like arrows. I don't know. It was big. Actually, it was dark, but I could have pointed it out to you. It's called the Mystic Highway, and it's referring to Highway 6, which stretches from Hamilton to Port Dover. And Tom said that the highway is a spiritual bedrock of Canadian rock music. So I guess that's what he was inspired by. A lot of his paintings have like this reoccurring theme, reoccurring images. He uses a lot of like this face that you'll see. We'll put up a picture of the mural, the moon, the eye, and like the same kind of colors and tones, very rich, blues and reds and white and whatnot. Yeah, I think it's really cool, and I love that. You know, when I think of Hamilton music, I think of Tom Wilson, so it's cool that he's the one that got to paint it. There's an article on the CBC website with a little video of his speech that he gave when they unveiled it last Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
So we'll put the link in for that, and you can check it out if you want. Yeah, it's neat. Apparently, it's going to be hanging for a while, as long as they can have it hanging without getting in trouble. So,
right.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Nice. Okay, I have one last quick thing to mention. I was just perusing what's going on in Ontario and arts and stuff, and on Twitter I saw that the ROM, Royal Ontario Museum, which we've talked about a bunch of times, is having a Pompeii exhibition, which opens in June of this year, so in the spring. I couldn't find a ton on their website. It sort of just explained about Pompeii, which was this huge volcanic eruption like 2,000 years ago, just in Italy, and essentially there was so much gas from the explosion and volcanic stuff happening that there's like an entire town like Pompeii is just frozen in time. So they had a little video, and we both watched this video, and it says pretty much nothing
it's like
about
5 seconds long.
Yeah. It says nothing about the exhibition. It just sort of has some like flames and explosions happening, and Pompeii at the ROM in June. But I'm looking forward to seeing that because I looked into Pompeii a little bit through my university stuff. I was studying sort of like the conservation of historical sites and that. So I'm kind of interested to see what sorts of things they have, or I assume they must have some artifacts.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Pompeii.
Yeah.
The buried city.
Yeah, very cool. Sort of a nightmare to maintain because people want to be walking through it.
Apparently, I think now if you can't, like, it's not a tourist thing anymore. Like, for a long time you could go and explore a little bit and see Pompeii, but I think now it's like closed to.
Yeah, they haven't really. When I was studying it, like, the government wasn't committing the amount of funding that they should have been, and it was sort of getting, like, deteriorating from people walking through and stuff. So.
It makes total sense. Like, you have this site that's, like, how old? And people trampling on it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's the same with, like, Stonehenge. My parents talking about, oh, yeah, like, we could just walk up and touch the stones. And when I went in, like, 2008, like, there was no way I could get within, like, 100 meters of those stones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's, like, a huge circle around it where you can walk, but you can't go up to them. So, I mean, it's good for preserving these things.
Yeah.
But, changes the experience a bit.
Yeah. I was in Mexico last week or the week before, and I went to one ruin site called Siebel Chalten, and some of them, well, could you go up and touch all of them? I can't remember if some of them were blocked off. I think, yeah, some of them were. But there were some that you could, like, sit on, like, they were little pyramid type things. And
cool.
Yeah, you could touch. It was interesting.
That's neat.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Well, we have a full day ahead of us, so I guess we'll get going.
Yeah.
And enjoy your weekend. What's left of it.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see you next week for episode 31.
Yep. Okay. Bye.
Bye.